Greetings and you awesome, warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary. And I wanted to come on today with just a quickie style that I think can really be very freeing to those of us with very fine hair or even fine Afro textured hair, so-called, so-called 4C hair. So it's very fine, very flat. I only got 33 locks and I only know that because it's not very many of them. So today, what I'm doing, and I don't do this often because I just don't want to do a bunch with my hair. I'm using some old pipe cleaners, and there can be some pros and cons with pipe cleaners. And I'm going to dive into that now. So if you're interested in this kind of content, feel free to stay tuned until the end. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, natural born woman. Shout out to you, whatever your expression is. And I love a natural lifestyle, as close as I can get to it in these times we're living in. On this channel, I love to share some of my journey of radical self acceptance, really celebrating the unique Afrocoid features that I have been divinely assigned at birth while I'm here on this 3D plane. I'm not interested in fighting it. This is what I got, and it's not big, it's not voluminous. This is what I have. So that's what I'm sharing on this channel, as well as encouragement to 3 lifestyle practices that we actually have access to. And those would be peaceful consumption, uh, garden therapy, and a personal movement practice. What peaceful consumption looks like for me, and you'll have to find your own sweet spot, is a consumption pattern that focuses on whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods with its living water still intact. So I like that distinction even more over than raw vegan. So the labels, we can have a tendency to ego trip off the labels, and the labels don't necessarily tell a whole story about the quantity of food, the quality of food, the timing of food, the state of mind we're in when we're eating. It doesn't tell the full story. So I found that having a simple litmus test really makes things a lot easier. So in the peaceful consumption pattern, again, you'll find your own sweet spot. Is the food love me back? Is the food peaceful to my arteries, to my brain, to my colon? Is it peaceful to my liver? Is it peaceful to my skin? Is it depositing a lot of waste on my waistline? Is it taking away from my vitality and my longevity? Is it taking a whole lot of additional energy for my body to break it down and assimilate it? So I find having guidelines or litmus tests makes things a lot easier. So I don't have to continually have to keep coming back to square one to make the decision to begin again. So that's what I like to share on this channel. If you're interested in that kind of content, garden, cultivating a personal movement practice, and peaceful consumption, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like. Really? Oh, you've been very inspired by your channel content. Keep it. I really appreciate the positive and motivational vibes. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So feel free to comment respectfully if you like if you like, subscribe, perhaps share it with someone who could use some value. And one of the things I found a good way to multiply off the investment of your time while you're on the internet is to perhaps replay these videos while you are decluttering, while you're on your personal movement or exercise mat, and while you're chopping up your vegetables. One of the biggest tools in my toolbox is support, and I am unapologetic about creating support for myself. I'm humbled by just how much we are copycat species. We are very affected, whether we want to admit it or not, by the music we're listening to, by the things that we're watching. I don't think many of us are even taking seriously or even realize the magnitude to which we are triggered, right? Into our subconscious, not conscious, but our subconscious. 85% or more of our behaviors are driven by subconscious triggers. And a lot of what we're watching and listening to is triggering and affecting and driving a lot of our unconscious behavior. So I'm very, very humbled by that. So feel free to maximize your time. And perhaps that's another litmus test to look at the things you're investing in, right? Your time, which is huge real estate, which you cannot get back. And many of us may not consider that the content that we are digesting and eating, consuming through these screens is depositing in one direction. We're not depositing here. If anything, our data and our movements are being mined and sold, right? So that companies can see how to market products to us. but the deposit is going one way and it's pre-scripted and it is triggering our eating habits, mindless eating, mindless shopping. It's triggering intimate physical relations quite often in the absence of a vetting process. So I'm humbled. I'm not going to sit and say I have this many degrees in this and that, and I'm not triggered. That would be in error, right? This is the age of the cult phenomenon on steroids and groupthink. So in any event, this is the quickie style for today. These are older pipe cleaners. My hair is a brown color. There's no products in it. There's literally nothing in my hair. Sometimes I'll use a gentle shampoo, but quite often I'm using nopales, the cactus from the yard. There's a video on this channel about the cactus. Actually, I think I'm liking it more than aloe. I also have a lot of aloe growing in the yard. I also have sage. I have mint. I have nettles. I have neem. So again, I really would like to encourage you to start a garden. I have this vision of seeing millions of us women having all the different things that we need to luxuriate inside of our gardens. And you can trade it with your neighbor and get some from this person. Quite often when I'm making nopales or aloe, I'll send a bottle for this person or that person. That's how I watch my grandma do it. So I'm just using these pipe cleaners and I'll discuss some of the pros and cons. So these are kind of old, so these might be falling apart a little bit. One of the things I don't like about the pipe cleaners, right, is that the edges of them can be kind of sharp and sometimes they get caught in my hair. Everything gets caught in my hair, right? And so being that I'm not twisting it, my hairline is very, very gentle. Any kind of pulling, I won't have a hairline. And so any of the hair that's back here, if I go to pull my hair in a ponytail when I'm exercising, this is all, it's extremely painful if anything is pulling on my hair. And so if you're going to use the pipe cleaners, you may want to double the pipe cleaners, and the very ends of the pipe cleaners, you may want to turn it down several times and really squeeze it to make sure that there are no sharp ends that can get caught in your hair. Other than that, some people say they don't like pipe cleaners. I find my hair does not hold curls well. This actually gives me the most of a curl with my hair. So it's not a super tight curl. Again, because I don't have products, it's not going to get all soft and, in that sense, right? With conditioner and wet and wrap around it. On the other end, though, I don't have any kind of buildup. And I've trimmed my hair numerous times. When I open it, I don't see any kind of buildup. So not having oil and butters also, especially as I'm moving, I have my personal movement practice, I'm in the garden, that is really like a buffer to having so much lint. And I make an effort to also use dark towels, whether that's cotton or microfiber. So I really like these. I think personally you could leave these in indefinitely and really give your hair a break. So this can really be beneficial if you have very fine hair. I only took out a few of them, but if you look to see where I still have pipe cleaners in my hair, it's not twisted all the way down. I'm not twisting it tightly all the way down to the root, right? And I do not oil my scalp at all. My scalp is very, very clean. This is, I found, the most relief ever to my scalp is actually no grease and no oil on my scalp. Actually, I'm oiling my scalp and moisturizing it from the inside. The products is the living water in the foods. And I say living water a lot. That's how it occurs to me. There's no water that's going to top what I'm getting inside of whole, fresh living produce. And I eat a lot of it. That's the foundation of my eating, just plants. So between the food that I'm eating, whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods only, and I used to be a junk food junkie, in addition to my movement practice, pumping my lymphatic system and my circulation, that's moving all that nutrition around my body and also to the scalp. If we're sitting down and we're not moving a lot, then we're not really maximizing off of what it is that we're eating. So again, when I when I put the pipe cleaners in, I am not touching this at all. I'm not touching the scalp. So this gets to puff out and be free. And it's going to form, if you have very flat hair, all of my locks are flat. So now they're pretty developed. So now I can see that they're all of them are totally like flat. Many people don't want flat locks. I'm with embracing it. So look how easy that's coming out. So it looks like it's mostly curled at the bottom, but all of these are flat and I can live with that. So it's kind of like a loose curl. It's not going to last forever. But I really actually don't like a lot of things on my person. I don't like hats, scarves, a whole bunch of clothes. So I like to feel free. So this feels pretty good, but I know I could keep them indefinitely, but I just like the feeling of freedom. So I'm just gonna take this out so folks could see, right? It's just a pipe cleaner that I folded down into two. And the ends of it I have folded over so that I don't have those sharp pieces ripping away at my hair, because this hair can get damaged very, very easily. So I call this freedom here because I feel like I've been set free, free from products, free from oil and grease rolling down into my face when I'm sweaty or I'm on my bicycle. I find that's a bit much. And for the longest time, just my personal experience, when I just look at how much time we have, right? You have your working hours, you have cleaning, you have maintenance. You only have, but you're lucky if you have 8 hours other than work and sleep and eating during the day. And I'm just not going to be sitting in a salon chair. It's just not, as I budget or manage my time, that's not where I want to spend it. I'm not interested in spending a whole lot of time on makeup. I can appreciate makeup. I've got other things to do. So I'd rather I can feel my skin breathe. And so I have chosen health and confidence over so-called somebody else's made-up standard of beauty. So I'm just unrolling these. I will say I don't like to sleep with things on my head, but I will say it does feel different when I sleep with stuff. So rather than moisturize, I would say that a silky scarf or one of these sleeves that you can put over your hair, it keeps the hair from drying out more so than moisturizing it. What I have found that those things, so it seems like some areas have a tighter curl than others. So it's springy, there's no oil or anything that is holding it down. So the main thing with these curls is to make sure that you're not rolling it all the way down to the root. So all of this is nice and puffy. All right, so I'm gonna take these out. And I just store these in a little clear little plastic case, these pipe cleaners. Also, kind of mimicking highlights, I like to think of, so these brown ones, usually I would say get brown or black depending on the color of your hair. And these sometimes you can only find a package of like multicolored or 3 different colors. So I kind of treat these other lighter colored pipe cleaners almost as highlights. So there you go. So again, these are all loose curls, and this gives me the best curl. Some people say they don't like them. Now I also have some flexi rods, and I find this gives me a better curl than the flexi rods. And here's another big pro to using, and this one I gotta be careful so I don't rip out my hair. See that feeling I don't like, something pulling on my hair. You gotta be very careful because I'll be ready to rip this sucker out. What was I gonna say? One of the pros of the pipe cleaners is that being that the color is so close to your hair, you can go outside and not look like, you're just looking like the mother with the cigarette and the house dress and the slippers going up to the schoolhouse. You still look presentable when you go outside, so you can actually wear it outside as a style. See that one? I gotta be careful pulling it out. So I got a couple more so I can fill in here. So they come out pretty easily. But again, you gotta watch out for these pieces here that you don't have any sharp edges that will rip your hair out, right? Because all these little things create damage. But detangling, I have my Tangle Teaser and my $30, $40 combs. See, all of these are flat, flat. And I would even say our hair actually has a sheen. It's like a carpet. It has a sheen. It's soft. It's not brittle. But I used to spend money on curlers and all this. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not oiling no scalp. I have been set free. I have been delivered. That's why I call this freedom here. This is like, I'm not worried about nada. And I also can rinse it. Someone was asking me recently, how often do I rinse my hair? Actually, I can rinse it as often as I'd like. If you're in a colder environment, I think you would have to be more wary of going out into the cold to catch a cold and it drying. So where I'm at now, it's pretty hot. If I rinse it in the daytime, it dries very quickly because of the lack of products in it. So the flexi rods, there's no pulling or tugging, but I have to say these give me the best curl, and I'm all about that low maintenance. And I remember when I was growing up, I would look at our Caucasian fellow human beings and wonder, like, how come they can just get up and go, don't have to do anything to their hair? I was like, why? How come we can't do that? And guess what? We can. Eureka. If I had known this before, I encourage a lot of women, let your daughter's hair grow down to the ground. You don't have to tangle tease it. You ain't got to use a whole lot of product. She can be freed up to go jump double dutch or go do something else for her time, right? And have her own little healthy sense of vanity about our own unique features, our own DNA marker that we popped out on here with. I'm like, and don't get me wrong, I have friends and women that are very dear to me that have style and have wigs and all that other stuff. So I'm not here for us to be divisive on what your hairstyle is. You might want to express and play with being something else. Only you can determine, right? Only you know in your quiet moments. Let's like be for real. It's like with alcohol. As much as people talk about antioxidants, at what point do we go from social drinking to alcohol, to being an alcoholic? So at what point, and only you know, it's not for any of us to judge because we're all on our own personal journey. At what point do we acknowledge if there's a tremendous letdown when we take off the mask? That I actually don't feel good when I take this off, that I'm not used to my own features. I feel like a letdown. That's why, for myself personally, where I have a concern, where I feel like I'm so addicted to something. If I take the stuff off, I don't feel good. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. For me, there's nothing that looks better on with this DNA marker than this. This is a beauty mark. It is unique. Nobody else. This is the one thing we got that nobody else got. And they try to come up finally with some halfway decent dolls. Nobody got this. So this one unique feature, why would I sacrifice this? I'm gonna be honest with you. If this was hanging on by a hairstring, I would cut this off in a peach fuzz in 2 seconds. I have never felt more stunning than when I went to a return to natural. So that's one thing I don't work about. I'm capitalizing, I'm multiplying off of that unique DNA marker. Our Asian counterparts, they have those beautiful slanted eyes. And it's interesting, there are two videos on this channel called an impromptu beauty conference. There are a lot of young girls where their parents in Asia give them as a gift when they graduate from high school a surgery to make their eyes to remove that unique DNA marker. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody else is making this up. So you got to do whatever you got to do. I have exited the arena. Y'all can have that. And wisdom is hard earned. Wisdom is hard earned. So for me to keep my unique, my eyebrows on my face, they almost didn't grow back anymore. For me over tweezing them, we're doing damage to ourselves. Only you know in your quiet moments, you know. And I think about this sometimes in the quiet. I'm an early riser. Y'all let me know what you think. Do you think honestly that we think that somebody else, I'm not talking about playfulness, expression, because you know, one of the things as Afro women, we can flip styles every which way to Sunday. However, in your quiet moments alone, and this is not for us to bash or compete with other folks, can we honestly say we don't feel that somebody else's texture or hair is better presenting, more attractive? Some of us have even said, and you even see it on some channels, that I like my natural hair, but the men folks ain't checking for this hair. So I'm going to put on this particular uniform in order to get chosen. I actually see many men say they prefer us with natural hair. They prefer the feel of our natural, tetas. Yet it's confusing to many young women. It's like, well, those are the ones that get chosen. But now we got to think, it's enough information, chosen for what? And we can also admit that having loads of makeup, even being some of the most beautiful and talented women in the world, that has not made many women exempt from being cheated on, left, et cetera, et cetera. So that being said, what's going to be litmus tests? So I think I got all of them out, right? So again, if you have very, very fine hair, this is what I would say is a fuller look to take advantage of that unique fluff that we have. If you have fine hair, and we resist it because it's programmed, it's conditioning. We just want to twist it and make it look neat. That's an option. However, similarly to the food, if we're going for longevity and vitality with the inside, with our cells, our heart, our lungs, and our hair, if we want our hair to have some longevity and it's communicating that it don't want to be messed with, that's a key communication. It's telling us, wait a minute, it flourishes when it's just left alone. So I only have 33 locks, y'all, and that's only, I only know because it's not a lot of hair, right? This is like most of my hair, and if I was to squish it, it looks full because of the fluff and the kink, and because of the style, right? So a lot of twisting, you'd be looking at my brain, you'd be looking at my whole, you'd be looking at my whole scalp. So this is a fuller style that takes advantage, that leverages our unique DNA marker and beauty marker and our stamp, if you feel me, right? If I wanted to, I could take a little clip and I can just pin this, right? So think about our little girls. Think about our little girls. This is like we're a walking museum. This is, to me, this is the ultimate for us. I don't have to dye it. I intend to celebrate my grays when they come in and when this is all silver. Like, instead, like, just flip it on its head. That's like somebody else has made up these narratives for profit. So I plan on enjoying this. This is regal. And working for the travel industry for years, I have never, ever, ever gone to a country where I didn't walk up in there with my little peach fuzz and my double strand twist. Wow. Think folks thinking it's exotic. So we're taking a lot of our cues, whether we want to admit it or not, even in our seasoned years, we're taking our cues from celebrities, from a clip of their life. So this was just this, y'all. Go to the 99-cent store or the discount store, the art supply store. Just got to make sure you fold them over, or maybe even take two of them to double up, right? And then twist the two ends and then turn the ends down, right? Thicker, and really tuck it in so you're not getting a sharp piece over at the root, right? That can tear away at your hair. And then your hair can breathe. You can leave this in indefinitely. Indefinitely. You have several styles, and you could truly have a protective style or just a rest style where you're giving your brain and your mind a rest. Same thing with the food. Once you take all of that processed stuff off the table, oh my gosh. Shout out to those folks in the nutritional reset. I was doing some research. I've been an avid researcher for going on 3 decades. And the research on the I have a list, epithelial cells inside the body. And I was a French fry addict, on what the hydrogenated oils, the canola oil and the soy oil. See, we think we're eating healthy. On what the oils in the fried foods, I was researching what uh, accelerates and causes aging in the body. And I've known for the longest time, but I keep going back, same different levels of research, even new research. Fried foods age the body. I'm not making it up. I get the part in your mouth. It's aging the body. It's aging at a fast rate. All the glucose and the candies and that, the fake sugar and the absence of nutrition is drastically aging the body. So why go spend $150 on La Mer creams and all these things being marketed at us, only to eat lots of dried out foods with lots of cheap salt or too much Celtic or Himalayan sea salt to dry the body out? It's not making sense. So I would say, rather than making us bad or wrong, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. And even if we think, what's more attractive to us? Because what we feel is the best is what we're striving for, or what we feel is going to yield us the best result. That's what we're wearing. Perhaps it's just my perspective. I don't have the only perspective. I can learn from anybody with a total opposite perspective. I remember trying on a wig. You're trying on what was the fashion of the day. I remember, 1988, it was like a bob. But I just didn't feel comfortable. I thought I could rock my own hair. So I'm just saying, we're wearing what we think is the most beautiful. Do we feel comfortable? Are we able to relax without the mask on? Do we feel like we can't go to work, we can't go outside, we won't be chosen if we don't have the mask on? I feel like that's kind of like, I feel like it's dangerous. And I feel like it's a slicky do. There's an undertone to all of these makeovers that are sold to us for esteem, right? And I get it if you've been in a accident, or I've seen some people whose hair was stuck together because they were traumatized or living in the street. I get the makeover. But I'm also seeing, I mentioned in a recent video, there's so many different makeovers online, but I saw a woman look like she's in her 70s give a makeup stylist a picture of Kim Kardashian and was like, "Yeah, I want to look like this." She was really excited, and I was thinking like, maybe just my eyes are different. I've retrained my eyes, I like to say, because there's no way now in my 60s, 70s that I would ever, no diss to her, want to look like Kim Kardashian. If anything, she's paid to replicate Afrocoid features, and now when she's ready to do something different, she has enough money to take some of those things out and replace them. Meanwhile, loads of young women all over the world are following her. But I was like, this is deep. This is a woman in her crone phase of life, which Western culture runs away from, the wisdom phase, the phase where you should be celebrating making it through all those different rites of passage. Now you have wisdom. Now you should be more comfortable in your skin and with stretch marks, or the fact that if you don't have firm mangles anymore, you know that you have sustained life from your breasts, right? There should be more confidence. I would think we would be able to sit more on the throne of our own existence as you move from, what are they giving us, 15 years now of youth, from 20 to 35, then you're tossed away by modern society's standards, right? And you're peddled all of these products. Like if you just run the numbers, my gosh, how much money is that? We have more outfits than we can ever wear in 365 days. So I'm not here to tell grown folks what to do. No siree, no siree, Bob. But I can tell you this: nothing, the confidence that grounds me comes from my personal movement practice, knowing that I'm eating the best possible food that I can for myself, and the peace that I get from my garden therapy, because the garden is not a flawed human being that's trying to scam or to manipulate me. So I'm glad to be catching it live. Enjoy watching the videos. Oh, thank you. uh, who is this? Beautiful curls, texture the same, fluffy, fine strands, delicate and lightweight, doesn't hold curls long. Thanks for introducing radical self-acceptance. You're so welcome. Jujwana, loved by God. What a nice name. And Katrina. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I'm just saying, perhaps some of the information on this channel could perhaps shorten the learning curve, right? So speaking of which, so for folks that don't know, I'm a personal trainer and I'm a chef. Love to eat, come from a family history of morbid obesity, amputations, diabetes, etc. And I see, after years of being in fitness and food, working with myself and clients, I've seen some patterns. And I'm always thinking with my clients, you could save yourself years of time and several packs of personal training sessions. Because I'm the person that's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you straight. I'm going to tell you straight. Real food. Your body responds differently to real food. There's a big difference between a potato chip and a real baked potato. So we're busy beating up on ourselves, shaming ourselves and others when we're not getting satiated because it's not real food. It's highly addictive. We're getting a dopamine hit after a dopamine hit. Even these screens, a lot of what we're watching in reality TV and the music is a dopamine hit. It is what it is. Look it up. But it doesn't have to take us years to get clear about eating healthy. I have found that support in basic comprehensive education, just like what I was researching today, and then sometimes we don't believe it when we see one of our own folks saying it to us, right? Because I'm not a medical doctor and personal trainer in a shop. But looking at the research on what is aging us, and I've seen it with folks. I ain't here to tell folks what to do, but I have seen, we're not thinking of the liver as aging you, right? Looking at a healthy liver and a hardened liver, cirrhosis of the liver is not just from alcoholism. It's also from a lot of refined starch. Not having a positive physiological release and keeping all those stress hormones in the body is aging the body and causing us to store most of what we're eating as fat. So between the insulin and cortisol, those very powerful hormones, just like we have hormones for puberty, are causing us to store most of these foods, which are not high quality substances that we're eating, substances masquerading as food. Then we're storing it all as adipose tissue, the technical term for fatty tissue. It's simple. But just looking at that research today, oh my gosh, alcohol, and you got a million different people because companies will pay, whether it's alcohol company, whether it's a peanut butter company, whether it's the chicken company, the pork company, they pay for their studies. Hopefully we're aware of that by now. So it really takes something. There will be some personal experimentation. It takes something to research and also pair that with your common sense discernment to find out what you should be eating and the amounts that you could be eating that are ideal for your particular body, and going by your results, your long-term results, also understanding that the body goes through different phases in life. At some point you'll reach menopause. That'll be a long period of your life too. Men do have their version too. And cortisol, as I've mentioned, hopefully men folks that come through this channel are researching. We're so concerned about the hair, is greatly contributing to that cortisol, to erectile dysfunction. So we're no one's telling the truth out here. Many folks are too embarrassed. So I personally like to take a lot off the table so that I can focus on what's important. What's important is me feeling good in a way that is not dependent on other people, whether they like me or compliments or what my bank account is looking like, which is why I have chosen to focus primarily on health and confidence over somebody else's standard of beauty. Health and confidence. And that health includes mental and emotional health. A lot of our naive and poor decisions are going to create a truckload of stress that will last us into perpetuity, into our long future. Poor decisions that are quite often based on trauma. I've mentioned this in some of my recent videos. I know people want me to just talk about the food and the recipes in the garden. There's actually a lot of that content on here. I don't know if you checked out the puppet series on this channel, Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Learn to Eat Better. However, I like to get to the root, and hopefully, young women, and as some young men that come to this channel, can shorten your learning curve and have enough clarity. Clarity is worth its weight in gold to save yourself from life-altering decisions and following the crowd. And you're thinking that it's worth it. And a lot of the stuff that folks are selling you like it's worth it is not all it's cracked up to be, and it's not worth it. At this particular point in time in 2022, for Afro women to be almost like the face of HIV is saying a lot in terms of our choices, right? Without beating up on ourselves, making poor decisions based out of fear. 5 basic fears talk about on this channel: fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of death and old age, fear of loss of love or never finding love. They say poverty, criticism, ill health and death, fear of loss of love. Yeah, 5 basic fears. And know that's what's being triggered every time you turn on these screens if you don't cultivate a lot of discernment. Also arming your body, strengthening your body. In the control center, I get the skin, I get the muscle, but number one is your brain. Are you eating for your brain? Because your brain, you can't outsmart your brain and your cells, which are living organisms. Your cells eating poop. So we're not kidding anybody by eating substances masquerading as food and then expect to be a sharp decision maker and to be on even kill and not to be yelling and popping off at people when you don't have any B vitamins because you're not eating enough vegetables and greens. It's simple. However, it's right underneath our noses, and it's a conflict of interest. Who has it in their best interest to share this information? And even after you have the information is not wisdom. The way it will become yours is when you get into action around what you say you value. And there's nothing like immediate action towards a goal. If that's one push-up, if that's walking inside your apartment, if that's scraping all those potato chips, even organic, and tossing them in the garbage, but that's just me. Hey, greetings, Tamiko. Shout out to Tamiko Gregory. She's one of the dear folks that's participating in the nutritional reset and is learning so much. and I'm here. That's if you're talking to me about fruits and vegetables, a movement practice and peaceful consumption, you got my attention because I like to come together around an activity. So again, here's my curlers. These are my little highlights. These probably cost me like $1.25 a packet because it used to be the 99-cent store. Now it's $1.25 a packet. I'm rolling up, but it's not being rolled down to the scalp. There's no dandruff. I'm not oiling my scalp. I'm not buttering my scalp. I'm not doing nada. All of that is off the table. I have a shampoo I use occasionally, but mostly right now I'm using teas and I'm using Nopales and I'm using aloe, and I rinse that out. And then I'm also using black tea, jasmine tea, sage, and nettles. That's it. Most of these things you can grab the seeds. And I'm inviting folks to Body-Culinary Academy. It's not the phase anymore for me to be sitting here telling people what to do. I don't know if we're paying attention because it's easy, and I totally get it. We want to be distracted. It's easy to focus on social media or reality TV than to sit with the magnitude of what's really going on around us and not to be paralyzed by fright and fear. However, I don't know if any of you are starting a garden growing seeds, but right now when you go to look at seeds, a lot of them are not available. A lot of the seeds are not available. So it might be to our benefit to learn how to grow something. I guarantee you, everybody, even if you're in New York City in an apartment, can grow something. So something that I've trademarked is called Afronomics, and I call it Afroflowernomics. Is I just have this vision, the ways of the mothers and the grandmothers, us being able to eat and luxuriate from what's growing in our yard and taking every single ingredient and knowing how to flip it every which way to Sunday, and also how to get really satiated. You can have beautiful food with you got so much treats, there's no reason to cheat. You can let us know what you think, Tamiko. Like, it's a whole new world. It's right underneath your nose. You don't even have to call it a label because everybody, whatever you want to call yourself, we can all benefit from more whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods as colorful, as nutrient dense, as water rich as you can imagine. There's so many possibilities. I have another dehydrator. I gave away all my dehydrators. I bought another one for clients where I am at now, but you don't even really need a dehydrator. You don't even need all of these fancy blenders. Give me a knife, a cutting board, and a grater, and we can go to town. That's how I get down. And actually, I find it's good quality time spent with yourself. It's a mind. This is a mindset. Peaceful consumption is a mindset. So I think, person, this here is a big tool. It's not the end all be all, but listen, this is working for me, child. I love that. If they had shown me this as a child, would have saved me the scabs from the perm on my scalp, the singed ears, too tight braids pulling out my hair. This could have saved me so much time. So right now, I'm all about shortening the learning curve because it's in our best interest to look after ourselves. And whether you're, all of us will go into an old phase at some point, even with the best care. So even if you don't have children that come through your womb, it is for us to secure ourselves, not waiting on folks to secure ourselves, and to identify those who will need to secure around us, because we will need to have reciprocal relationships, not out of cults and not out of fear and not out of taking people's BS. That's not what I'm talking about. But this lifestyle, it has so many implications. It's peaceful. It's relaxing. You can take a lot off the table. If you were to get a diagnosis tomorrow with something, is there anything? Let me know in the comments. Is there anything that you would be doing differently in terms of your consumption and your lifestyle? If you were to get a diagnosis tomorrow, is there anything that you would be doing differently with your eating patterns, your amounts, your sleep, toxic relating with folks, whether that's family members, a job? Is there anything that you would be doing differently? So what are we waiting for? Create some support for yourself, and I invite you to get into action. For those folks that are interested in Flower Fit, I am opening up community and coaching to folks. You can feel free to reach out to me at info@body-culinary.com and bodyculinary@gmail.com and info@body-culinary.com. So that is a private platform, so that it's not open and random to YouTube. And it goes without saying, We'll be pulling out all of those fitness trackers you've invested in, all of that fitness stuff that you have laundry hanging on. We're going to be pulling those out. Those knives and those cutting boards. We're going to be learning how to work with the whole fresh ingredients. So it's a lovely lifestyle. I love it. That's what I'm interested in, and we'll be coming together around an activity. So there will be some dancing in, there will be some sweating in there, and we'll do it all safely, and it'll be a lot of fun. So if you're interested, reach out for Flower Fit Community. Usually we have Hit It and Quit It in the mornings at 5 o'clock, I believe, at this time of the year, Eastern Standard Time, right? So you can go by Eastern Standard Time and adjust your clock differently if you're over in Central America or if you're in Jamaica. You can adjust your clock, but it's usually at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I know for me, this time of the year is a 1 hour difference, and during the second half of the year, it's a 2 hour difference. So I show up 40 minutes of Hit It and Quit It. On Sundays, we're meeting. There's also the nutritional reset. Feel free in the meantime to pick up a copy of or download a copy of Whole Living Foods in the Hood. That is a guide to eating and living whole, fresh, unprocessed foods as a lifestyle. You can put whatever label on it that you want, but it's whole, unprocessed foods. There are different sample budgets and different ideas of what you can get from the wholesaler, the farmer's market, the food co-op, the Caribbean fruit stand, whatever is available to you. If you're dealing with a lot of acne and hyperpigmentation, as I have, there's Natural Beauty No Products. Folks ask me for products. I don't have any products for you because I can't sell something I don't use, so I don't have a bunch of products for you. You know, I bought a bunch of expensive clothes. Most of them went in the garbage. So I either thrifted, I have a tailor adjust some stuff. I have other things that I'm focusing on, right, that are more important. So all of that money I pay for fresh food, which is a priority. My fuel is my health care, more so than medical care, right? My goal is to stay out of there. I'm only going in for an emergency. I'm focusing on health care. So I'll take my chance with the juicer and the greens in my garden. So Natural Beauty, No Products. Products are the food that I'm eating first, primarily and consistently, right? We want to hopefully get off the detox to retox. Oh, I detox. Oh, I did a 100-day fast, and then go back to the same thing. Or we're binging on cheese doodles and hamburgers. Oh, because I'm doing a fast tomorrow. Haven't prepared our body properly for these fasting cleansing programs, spending several $100s on herbs and green powders, only to break these so-called fasts with coffee, cakes, organic chips. It's defeating the purpose. We're not getting the most out of our investment, right? So if you're consistent, if you can find a lifestyle that's enjoyable and sustainable, goes much longer. It's not extreme, and it's easy on your on your psyche emotionally. Tamiko, yes, I found some. What's she saying? I found so many ways to eat whole living foods and be satiated in the process. I've really enjoyed the content and the resource and Body-Culinary courses. It is great investment. Oh, thank you, Tamika. I find it's a lot of fun. And in the community, folks are sharing pictures of their food and asking their questions. So that sense of community can really shorten your learning curve. The Wiggins, she said, wow, you get all these beautiful curls with no product. None. It's a pipe cleaner. A pipe cleaner. Maybe I spritz a little black tea, the jasmine tea, which I have found. And I just got this Afroflowonomics thing. Welcome, because I know I have folks of other persuasion and some Caucasian girls and other folks and men that come to this channel. Long and respectful, everybody's welcome here. I'm not buying all of these products. I find it a bit stressful. I don't know about you. I find it stressful. And I just can't see spending all this money. I've tried the rose water. I just can't see spending all this money on rose water. It's just not sustainable. And so sometimes it's like $9, and then it's the plastic. And if it's $9 or $14 for a little bottle, and my hair soaks up, what I just like it. That's a mentality. So I don't have a problem with luxuriating. I just feel like it should be easy access. Health should be easily accessible. It should not have to cost you $1 million to eat healthy. It should not have to cost you $1 million to get in shape. Now, you may invest. It is likely we'll have to learn how to invest in ourselves. If you don't invest, I've invested in coaches and trainers for a good portion of my life. That has shortened my learning curve to make sure that I get a specific result. So you got to invest in yourself. However, it should not take us, sometimes it's taken us 20 years to get to something that can be done in a year or 2 years as a lifestyle. The lifestyle. Many people don't have an idea for how they would like to eat and consume, right? The way and the style and the way that you're eating beyond the fast. So we start ego tripping off, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, and I did a fast. And we don't have long term results. Your cells know the difference. So in our quiet moments, we're not kidding anybody. We're not kidding anybody. So we want a life of ease. We deserve to feel comfortable in our skin. That's what I think. I think we deserve to feel comfortable in our own skin, right? And our own divinely assigned hair and skin. This was assigned to me for a reason. So this is the best hair for me because this is what I have been assigned. So there could be nothing better. I get to play and express. There's nothing better than this. I don't think so. So this is how we rocking out over here. This is how we're rocking out over here. Freedom here. We need some rest and relaxation. Y'all don't think so? Too much stress, too much pressure, too much pressure. I got to turn myself inside out to be something I could never be, to look like something I could never look like, to add on all the stuff I could never sustain. When stuff is going down, I'm not trying to do no hair or grab some makeup palettes. Well, what's happening right now? So the health, there's not that much makeup in the world. And I like makeup. There's not enough makeup in the world to continually cover up poor health, right? And that's not making an investment into the 401k of our bodies, right? For longevity, so we don't get dementia, right? And keep away cancer and make sure that we have strong bones and so we can defend ourselves and so we have sharp critical thinking. That requires something. It requires an investment. So I decided to take a lot of this off the table and it's pleasant. The food I'm eating is pleasant. The lifestyle is pleasant. So I can focus on other things that are a priority. And those kind of investments will give you a kind of, it's going to give you something. It's something that we're looking for. And I like makeup. But when you have to take it off and be there with yourself, there's something that you can't get from there. There's something when you're in integrity with yourself, when you know that you're doing what you need to do for your health and your well being, your physicality, and your emotional health, when you're making good decisions, when you have enough to look forward to. I'd rather, my grandma Lou say, you stay busy, stay out of trouble. I'd rather be going to a dance class. If I had to say anything to you 19, 20-year-olds out there, you'd be better off going to a dance class. You'd be better off learning a language. You'd be better inside the garden getting a focus. No offense. You're not missing anything. Everybody encourage you to have intimate physical relations. Folks are lying to y'all. Look at the numbers with Black women HIV from not having enough confidence, not making us bad or wrong, from opening ourselves to everybody and everything with no vetting process, no litmus tests for who we letting in. It's groupthink. You're not missing out, and you're made to feel the odd one out if you don't put your body parts and your reproductive organs and your money in harm's way. You can't get the time back. In addition, we lose a lot of our emotional and mental focus. Slightly different, but similar for men. We're being pandered to by folks online that's not telling you that they got an erectile dysfunction, their body parts are not working properly, that they're not really happy. You listen to all these folks online, you wind up being alone, right? That have us turned off from, not saying that we all have to have children, but have us turned off from family. Anything that's encouraging you not to be accountable and responsible, I would look at it like it's got four heads. I'm just saying. Anyway, let me get off of here. This is my Saturday night chat. Juwan, I'm interested to participate in the program. We look at the video at the end to see how to participate. Again, you can reach out to me. I think there should be a link earlier today. You can reach out. The books are there. The links for the books, which you can download. You can also, again, reach out to me at bodyculinary@gmail.com and info@body-culinary.com. After you've completed an application and once you're registered, you will receive a private link so that it is a safe space to ask your questions, to post pictures of your food, to get a lot of things, a lot of questions answered, right? So focus on food, your movement practice, and your garden, right? These are tremendous investments. I think we it's a much better use of our time. You're getting something back for your investment, and a lot of fun too, right? Because if I come over to your house right now, my roller skates, my double dutch rope, we're playing in the garden, it'll be a no-brainer, right? So I'm sending you all some warm positive vibrations. Send you some warm positive vibrations. Feel free, if you like, to comment respectfully. uh, I'd like to know, because there was that question, right? If you got a diagnosis tomorrow, is there anything that you would be doing differently in regards to your lifestyle practices, your sleep, your eating, your how you're relating? Um, is there anything that you'd be doing differently? And if so, what can you do to activate that right now? Because we're in some times, in health and mental health and emotional physical health is critical. It's very, very important for us to flourish and move past these times that we're in. So love to see all you flowers in the house. We'll be meeting tomorrow, so hopefully everyone will have a good rest. If you have any questions, ask them now, because I'm about to go jump off of here and go. And I think my bunnies are sleeping. Wow, I can't believe it. They're being peaceful. They're being peaceful. Right, Magical? Right now? Oh, you're not asleep. Okay. How do I do your piece? As long as you're not tearing everything up over here. Say hi. Say hi, Magical. Say hi, Booby Dooby. Say hi. Yes, she's so peaceful. It's the most peaceful creature. This is why I can't do it. I can't eat. I don't want to eat no rabbits. Very, very peaceful creatures. So if no one has any questions, we're going to sign off and go rest for the evening. If given a poor diagnosis, I cut out the stressors and eat better. I'm on that path now. I know that's right. Get into action. There's nothing like immediate action towards a goal. Right, Magical? Nothing like immediate action towards a goal. And these animals are such a good. Here comes the other one jumping in the compost. Kitty Cool, come out of there. Why you gotta jump in the compost? No, you don't belong in there. Come out. See, that's how I put you over in the other room. That's the compost, baby. You're not supposed to be in there. This one like to go in the compost. And here come my sister. Right? You're not supposed to be in there. You're not supposed to be in there. You have cilantro. That stuff all there. What's in your eye? Yeah, so to me, I love the flowers in the background. Yes, remember I told you they're the good luck flowers. If you go to Chinatown, you can get them very, very inexpensively, and they're easy to sprout, and they'll grow nice and tall, and you can have a lot of them. They're not expensive at all, and they're one of the more sturdier flowers. They're easy to propagate, right? To get some other ones, right? So before y'all get any ideas about bunnies, they're expensive creature to have, and they're not like cats and dogs. They're totally different. Actually, they are a great lesson in CP, what they call it, complex post traumatic stress disorder, because they are creatures of prey. They're very, very skittish. They actually don't really even like to be held, right? They have to get used to human touch because they're used to somebody preying down on them, like they're going to eat them or something. So they have their excellent lesson. And actually, they're great raw vegans because they love to eat leafy greens all day. So Kitty Coo and Magic and I, we're gonna go for a rest. I hope you all have a wonderful rest. Reach out to me and send an email if you'd like an invite to the Flower Fit community. And again, it's come together around activity. It's not religious, no, but there is a focus on garden, peaceful consumption, and cultivating a personal movement practice, as well as some other coaching. All right, y'all. So y'all have a great evening, and I will see you soon.